Ladies and gentlemen, today we're stepping into a subject that's as real as it gets. Narcissists, those people who thrive on control, manipulation, and putting themselves on pedestals. Now, we don't play games to hurt anyone, but sometimes life demands you to stand firm and protect your peace. And if you're dealing with a narcissist, you've got to know how to reclaim your power without stepping down to their level. Let's talk about 6 things they absolutely hate not to attack, but to empower yourself and show them you're not to be toyed with. Narcissists are masters of manipulation, experts at spinning words and situations to provoke a reaction from you. Their entire game is built around control, and they achieve it by pulling you into their web of drama, conflict, and mind games. They thrive when they can make you doubt yourself, question your worth, or react emotionally to their antics. But when you choose to disengage, to simply not react, you throw their entire playbook into chaos. Ignoring a narcissist doesn't mean you're weak or indifferent, it means you're reclaiming your power. They hate being ignored because your attention is their fuel. Whether they're showering you with false praise or trying to bait you with criticism, their goal is always the same: to keep you emotionally hooked. When you don't respond, it's like cutting off the supply they desperately need. Their tactics, whether it's gaslighting, guilt tripping, or passive aggression, begin to lose their effectiveness the moment you stop feeding into them. Your silence becomes their frustration, your composure their defeat. They may escalate their attempts, trying harder to provoke you, testing new angles to regain control, but your consistent refusal to engage dismantles their strategy. Ignoring them is not about pretending they don't exist, it's about choosing not to give them access to your emotional energy. It's a conscious decision to rise above the manipulation and not let their actions dictate your peace of mind. By refusing to react, you force them to sit with the emptiness they work so hard to avoid. They want to feel significant, powerful, and in control, but your indifference reminds them that their power is an illusion they can't sustain without your participation. This is why ignoring their tactics is not just an act of self-preservation, it's a way to disarm their influence entirely. Narcissists loathe boundaries because boundaries represent something they cannot control: your autonomy and self-respect. They thrive on encroaching into your personal space, your emotional territory, and even your sense of self. When you draw a line and stand firm, it sends a message they can't ignore: this is my space, my rules, and you cannot cross them. Establishing and enforcing boundaries is one of the most powerful moves you can make, and it's something narcissists absolutely despise. Setting boundaries is not just about saying no to their demands, it's about making a clear declaration of your values, needs, and limits. It's about refusing to engage in the toxic dance they try to lead. When you enforce boundaries, you disrupt the very framework of their manipulative strategies. They can no longer rely on your compliance or emotional availability to feed their ego. But here's the thing: narcissists will test you. They will push, prod, and guilt trip you, attempting to make you feel selfish or unreasonable for protecting your own well-being. They might shift between charm and aggression, trying every trick in their arsenal to bypass your limits. This is where enforcement becomes crucial. A boundary without enforcement is like a locked door with an open window. Narcissists will find a way in if they sense even the slightest hesitation. Enforcing boundaries means standing resolute in the face of their manipulation. It's about consistently refusing to engage in their drama, even when they escalate their tactics to make you feel uncomfortable or guilty. It's about recognizing their attempts to provoke you for what they are: a desperate bid to regain control. By holding your ground, you're not just protecting your own peace, you're sending a message that their games no longer work on you. Boundaries are more than walls, they are bridges to your freedom. They define who you are and what you will not tolerate. For a narcissist, boundaries feel like rejection, and rejection is something they cannot stand. But for you, boundaries are a declaration of self-worth, a reminder that you have the power to dictate how you are treated, and an act of reclaiming control over your life. A narcissist's entire existence revolves around their need for validation. Their sense of self-worth is fragile, and they rely on external praise, admiration, and constant affirmation to prop up their inflated self-image. It's not enough for them to feel good about themselves. They need others to do the heavy lifting by constantly feeding their ego. This is where you have an incredibly powerful tool: refusing to validate their ego. When you stop providing them with the constant admiration they crave, you break down the foundation of their self-constructed reality. Narcissists rely on external sources to maintain their sense of importance. Every compliment, every ounce of praise they receive is like a drug, fueling their delusion of superiority. By withholding validation, you stop being a part of their supply chain, and suddenly their self-worth begins to crumble. Refusing to validate their ego is not about being cold or rude, it's about recognizing the unhealthy dynamics at play and choosing to no longer play a part in their need for constant reassurance. When they attempt to fish for compliments or seek affirmation, you stay neutral, offering no praise or flattery. You don't feed into their self-aggrandizing stories or inflated sense of importance. Instead of reacting to their need for recognition, you stand firm in your own sense of value, unaffected by their attempt to get you to elevate them. The narcissist's frustration grows when they realize they cannot get what they want from you. They might turn to manipulation, guilt tripping, or playing the victim to try to elicit a response. They may even attempt to make you feel as if you're the one in the wrong for not acknowledging their greatness. But by refusing to validate their ego, you stop allowing them to control the narrative. You no longer allow their sense of importance to dictate the flow of conversation or the direction of the relationship. Narcissists are driven by the need for constant attention, but when you withhold that attention, it's like a mirror reflecting their true, vulnerable self. Without the external validation, they begin to feel the weight of their own emptiness. They can no longer pretend to be something they're not, and that reality check becomes uncomfortable for them. By refusing to validate their ego, you give them a taste of the isolation and insecurity they try so hard to avoid. Confidence is the armor that protects you from the narcissist's attempts to diminish your self-worth. It's not about being loud or overtly assertive. True confidence is rooted in a deep, unwavering belief in your own value and abilities. When you possess genuine confidence in yourself, it's like a shield that the narcissist's manipulative tactics cannot penetrate. They cannot shake you because you know exactly who you are, what you stand for, and the strength you carry within. For a narcissist, confidence is a direct threat. They feed off the insecurity of others, using it to control, manipulate, and belittle. But when you walk into a room with your head held high, unapologetically owning your space, they are faced with a force they cannot manipulate. Confidence radiates from within, and it sends a message: you cannot diminish me. It's not arrogance, it's an acknowledgement of your inherent worth, a quiet but powerful refusal to let anyone define you except yourself. When you stop seeking validation from others, including narcissists, you shift the power dynamics in your favor. You no longer allow anyone to dictate your emotional state or question your decisions. Narcissists rely on your doubts, your insecurities, and your constant search for their approval to maintain control over you. But confidence changes that. When you trust yourself, you don't need to ask for permission or wait for someone to approve of your choices. You make decisions based on what aligns with your values and your goals. A narcissist will try to undermine your confidence by constantly finding flaws or creating self-doubt. They may criticize you, belittle your achievements, or make you feel as though you're not worthy of respect. But your inner confidence doesn't crumble under these attacks, it grows stronger. You recognize their words as reflections of their own insecurities, not truths about who you are. When you embody confidence, you send a clear message: you are not available for manipulation. You will not bend to their will or allow them to shape your narrative. Confidence creates a sense of invulnerability because it establishes your self-worth as unshakable. Narcissists who rely on destabilizing others find no purchase in a person who knows their own worth. You are the one in control of your emotional landscape, and your confidence ensures that no external force, no matter how manipulative, can alter your sense of self. One of the most powerful ways to make a narcissist miserable is to show them that you can thrive without them. Narcissists thrive on the belief that they are irreplaceable, that they are the source of your happiness, success, or emotional stability. They love the idea of being the center of your world, controlling your thoughts, actions, and emotions. But when you start to live your life independently, flourishing without their presence, you challenge their very perception of themselves as essential. Thriving without a narcissist is not just about surviving in their absence, it's about living in such a way that their absence is barely noticed, or even better, it becomes a footnote in your life. This can be a devastating realization for them because they rely on your dependency, whether it's emotional, financial, or psychological. When you stop depending on them for validation, affection, or attention, you are telling them that you no longer need them to feel complete, fulfilled, or happy. The narcissist feeds off your weakness, your need for their approval, and your attachment to them. When you begin to thrive independently, it shows them that you are self-sufficient, that your happiness does not hinge on their manipulation or presence. This doesn't mean you stop caring for your own well-being or that you cut them off in a dramatic or hostile way, but it's a quiet refusal to allow them to control the direction of your life. You may notice that as you start to thrive, you feel more energized, more self-assured, and more focused on your goals. You begin to surround yourself with people who truly support and care for you, people who contribute positively to your growth. Your social circle expands, your confidence grows, and your achievements multiply. Each step you take towards your personal success is a blow to the narcissist's ego, a reminder that their role in your life is not as central as they once believed. Thriving without them also means setting your sights on your own dreams, pursuing your own passions, and creating your own future. The narcissist might try to undermine your success, belittle your achievements, or downplay your progress, but none of it matters because you've already disconnected from their need for control. You are no longer waiting for their approval to pursue what excites you, and their attempts to make you feel small no longer land. As you continue to thrive, you begin to recognize your own worth more clearly, and you become less susceptible to the narcissist's tactics. Your confidence grows, and you become more resistant to their efforts to manipulate or diminish you. Narcissists are unable to tolerate seeing others live well without them because it exposes their own lack of substance and the emptiness that fuels their need to control. And that, my friends, is exactly the kind of power that rattles their core. One of the most powerful ways to break free from the hold of a narcissist is by staying calm in the storm. Narcissists thrive on chaos, drama, and emotional upheaval. They rely on triggering your emotions to create confusion, manipulate your reactions, and keep you in a constant state of instability. But when you learn to stay calm in the storm, when you refuse to be rattled by their antics, you disarm their ability to control you. Narcissists often create storms, moments of emotional volatility where they lash out, manipulate, or stir up trouble. They know that if they can get you to react emotionally, they gain power. This is when you need to exercise your most powerful tool, your ability to remain composed, unaffected, and unwavering in your own peace. It's not easy, and it takes practice, but staying calm in these moments sends a powerful message. It's a message that says, I am not going to be swayed by your attempts to disrupt my peace. When a narcissist senses that they can no longer pull you into the emotional chaos they create, they become frustrated. They might try even harder, testing your limits, pushing your buttons to see if they can provoke a response. But by staying calm, you show them that you cannot be easily manipulated. You no longer give them the satisfaction of seeing you lose control. Instead, you become an immovable force, unshaken by their attempts to destabilize you. Staying calm in the storm isn't about suppressing your emotions or pretending that things are fine when they're not. It's about maintaining control over how you respond to the narcissist's behavior. It's about choosing not to allow their actions to dictate your emotional state. It's about taking a step back, observing the situation without getting caught up in the drama, and making decisions from a place of clarity rather than reacting from a place of emotional turmoil. This requires an immense level of self-discipline. It means refusing to engage in petty arguments or to get drawn into the narcissist's world of blame, guilt, and projection. It's about recognizing their behavior for what it is, manipulation, and choosing to rise above it. When you can maintain your composure in the face of their provocations, you not only protect your own mental and emotional well-being, but you also make it clear that you are not someone they can control. Furthermore, staying calm in the storm allows you to think more clearly. When you are emotionally destabilized, you lose sight of your goals, your values, and the reality of the situation. Narcissists thrive on clouding your judgment, making you question your decisions, and causing you to doubt yourself. But when you stay calm, you keep your mind clear and focused. You're able to evaluate the situation objectively, make thoughtful decisions, and respond in ways that serve your best interests. Remaining calm also helps you protect your boundaries. Narcissists often try to break through the walls you set by emotionally manipulating you into feeling guilty, anxious, or insecure. But when you stay calm, you reinforce those boundaries, letting them know that their emotional games won't work. You've built a strong sense of inner peace that no external chaos can disturb. This unwavering sense of calm becomes a powerful form of resistance to their attempts to control or provoke you. By mastering the art of staying calm, you regain your power. You stop being a pawn in their emotional game, and you start playing on your own terms. It's not just about weathering the storm, it's about becoming the calm center of the storm. Knowing that no matter what chaos surrounds you, you will remain anchored in your peace, in your truth, and in your strength. At the end of the day, dealing with a narcissist is about taking back control. It's about recognizing their tactics and not allowing them to manipulate, control, or define you. When you ignore their tactics, establish boundaries, refuse to validate their ego, and remain confident in your own self-worth, you are dismantling the power they once held over you. As you begin to thrive without them, showing that your happiness and success don't depend on their approval, you start to make them realize that they are not the center of your world. When you remain calm in the storm, you create an impenetrable shield around your peace, refusing to be provoked or pulled into their chaos. Staying composed, no matter how hard they try to trigger you, strips them of their power to control your emotions and reactions. You reclaim your own space, your own peace, and your own strength. In the end, it's not about fighting back or seeking revenge. It's about rising above, holding your ground, and becoming the best version of yourself. By doing so, you rob the narcissist of their primary source of power, your emotional vulnerability. You become a force that cannot be easily shaken, and that, my friends, is how you make a narcissist miserable.